The Tower of London, England's infamously haunted fortress. Rising majestically along the River Thames in central London is one of the world's most legendary structures, the Tower of London. Known for its dark history of imprisonment, execution, and torture during its early days, the tower continues to captivate visitors today with its imposing architecture and the mysteries that lurk within its walls. There are few castles in the world more steeped in history, legend, and intrigue as the nearly 100-year-old tower. Constructed by William the Conqueror in 1078, initially as a stronghold fortress, the tower has also served as a grand palace, treasury, mint, menagerie, and weapons arsenal over its long existence. The sprawling complex is made up of several sections surrounded by multiple defensive walls and towers, covering some 12 acres along the Thames. But behind its former military functions and current role as a popular tourist attraction live the many ghosts, legends, and mysteries that refuse to relinquish their grip on the tower after all these centuries. With such a long and bloody past of violence, execution, and death within its walls, it is no wonder the Tower of London is considered one of the most haunted places in England. Let's explore some of the tower's most enduring unsolved mysteries and supernatural legends that linger on within its largely intact historic towers and halls. The Princes in the Tower. Perhaps the tower's greatest mystery focuses on the fate of the princes in the tower, the boy King Edward V and his younger brother Richard. Following the death of their father, King Edward IV in 1483, the 12-year-old Edward was next in line for the throne. But before his official coronation, he and Richard stayed in the tower under the protection of their uncle, Richard, Duke of Gloucester. After gathering opposition against the boy's right to succession, Richard seized the throne for himself as King Richard III, and the young princes mysteriously vanished shortly after. For over 500 years now, the enigma continues over what ultimately happened to the boy princes. Were they murdered on the orders of their scheming uncle? Several unidentified children's skeletons found there in the 17th century fueled speculation they were indeed killed and buried secretly within the tower grounds. But without modern forensic evidence, their ultimate destiny remains obscured in mystery. Those interested in getting to the bottom of history's great unsolved mysteries may yet find answers within the venerable tower, if one dares to look. The screaming specter of Anne Boleyn. Second only to the missing princes in the tower's most told legends is the ghost of the beheaded Queen Anne Boleyn, wife of King Henry VIII and mother of future Queen Elizabeth I. Boleyn was held for a time in a tower dungeon before her execution in 1536 on likely false charges of adultery, incest, and treason concocted by her husband. It was in the bell tower of the Tower of London where Boleyn spent her final days before facing the executioner's blade on Tower Green. And it is in the bell tower, aptly named for its clear ringing bells when prisoners met their gruesome ends, where Boleyn's specter is most frequently encountered, drifting near the window overlooking Tower Green where she met her demise. Visitors touring the bell tower have reported encountering Boleyn's elegantly dressed and mournful ghost, gazing distantly out the window toward the site of her bloody end, her ethereal form floating silently, without legs, below the knee. Where records show her body was unceremoniously buried at the execution site radiates both profound sadness and simmering resentment. Anne Boleyn may have lost her head to the politics of King Henry's court long ago, but her spirit refuses to relinquish its claim within the tower. The phantom bear of the royal menagerie. While ghosts of executed royalty and vanished princes have won the tower far more notoriety, another lesser-known spirit animal also still lurks about. According to legend, a phantom ghost bear from the old royal menagerie. From 1235 to 1835, the tower housed exotic wild animals collected by British royalty and presented as luxurious gifts over the centuries. Lions, leopards, monkeys, eagles, and even an elephant resided at times in cages around the tower grounds. But perhaps the most terrifying resident was Old Martin, a large black grizzly bear, kept chained in place to amuse and intimidate tower visitors for nearly 20 years in the early 1800s. Old Martin was greatly feared by tower guards, who taunted him from outside his cage, further enraging the volatile beast. Finally, in a fit, Martin broke free one day and nearly killed a guard before he was subdued and moved to the London Zoo. Though old Martin himself may now be long gone, more recent tower guards over the past century still occasionally report brief sightings of a dark, amorphous mass that moves quickly across their field of view before vanishing into thin air. Old Martin's angry spirit prowling about his former prison, still resentful centuries after his watchful imprisonment and bullying treatment by the tower guards of old. The headless knights of the Tower Green. Not all hauntings at the tower are relegated to misty, transparent specters or fleeting phantom animals. In some instances, entire ghostly scenarios have been reported playing out within tower grounds, like haunting glimpses into the violent past. And no location around the tower presents a more recurring and vivid historic replay than that of Tower Green. Tower Green comprises a small open courtyard between towers on the tower grounds. But in its long history, the innocuous-looking plot of grass has witnessed executions that resonate through to the present day. Tower Green is most infamous as the site of execution by beheading of condemned nobility and celebrities, held in the tower and sentenced to die by order of the ruling monarch. In addition to the aforementioned Anne Boleyn, Catherine Howard and Jane Grey were also beheaded here by expert executioners under orders of King Henry VIII in 1542 and Queen Mary I in 1554, respectively. In all likelihood, many more anonymous souls also lost their lives on Tower Green over the centuries. And some believe a few of those spirits remain active around this macabre hotspot. Visitors to the Tower Green late at night have reported the disconcerting experience of encountering ghostly scenes playing out around them under a night sky, as if time itself has wound backwards. Flickering lights, candles, and braziers create an eerie aura over Tower Green. Shimmering figures dressed in period costumes appear and disappear. Nobles, guards, executioners, and the condemned passing ethereally across the open yard. Most disturbing are the recurring eyewitness accounts of a scaffold and kneeling platforms, fading slowly in and out of view by the towers. Beauchamp Tower, with a shadowy executioner standing by with glistening axe in hand, impatiently awaiting the next head to fall under his blade. Those watching the nightmarish vignettes quickly realize they have been granted a rare glimpse into the fearful executions from centuries past that give Tower Green its grisly notoriety. Ghostly sentries upon the White Tower ramparts. The oldest and most prominent building within the Tower of London complex is the iconic White Tower, begun by William the Conqueror in 1078 and expanded by later rulers. Looming nearly 100 feet over the tower grounds, with its four-corner turrets, the White Tower has served the functions of Grand Palace, standing army barracks, royal observatory, and weapons storage site during various periods. Today, the White Tower houses displays from the Royal Armoury's collections dating back centuries, and some believe remnants from those past eras continue to stand guard along the tower parapets and upper floors. Late night, visitors to the tower grounds have reported seeing ghostly figures of uniformed guards suddenly appear high above, walking back and forth among the turrets and ramparts of the White Tower, silently keeping watch as they did in life centuries ago during their military tenures. The shadowy sentries pace slowly around the tower perimeter, oblivious of activities down below, as if still patrolling for any signs of attack from would-be assailants attempting to breach tower defenses. The spectral guards appear fully three-dimensional to eyewitnesses, detailed right down to the buttons on their high-collared uniforms and the muskets slung over their shoulders. Their silent patrols atop the magnificent White Tower are a haunting reminder of all the loyal soldiers from eras long past, who have served their watch through the ages upon the venerable fortress. Spectral forces marching from the bloody tower gateway. Not only fully formed phantoms are witnessed around the White Tower, but ghostly remnants of marching military processions as well, near the adjacent Bloody Tower. The Bloody Tower earned its ominous name from the still unresolved murders of the Dubois princes, believed to have occurred somewhere within its walls back in the 15th century detailed earlier. Originally named the Garden Tower for its proximity to the Constable's Garden, the structure was rechristened Bloody Tower following the strange vanishing of the murdered princes, whose blameless young ghosts are said to still frequent the tower's interior rooms. But other soldiers from various eras also appear near the Bloody Tower as shadowy residual specters, seen marching in formation across the nearby tower grounds. Known as the Parade of Phantom Soldiers, the ghostly processions emerge without warning from the direction of the Bloody Tower gateway, Eyewitness accounts describe shadowy figures of soldiers in a variety of air uniforms marching in tight columns toward Tower Green. The ghostly parade then veers left, disappearing through the walls of the Chapel Royal of Stede, Peter ad Vincula, where they vanish from sight. The spectral marching scenes offer no clue as to which long-ago military units have been imprinted upon time to mindlessly repeat their timeless drills and marches outside the old fortress. But their appearance reinforces the permanence with which all who have served their duties, willingly or not, within the venerable tower remain indelibly linked to its immensely storied legacy. Ongoing investigations into the tower's lingering mysteries. The Tower of London has been a magnet for ghost hunters, paranormal researchers, and psychic mediums seeking to unlock the fortress' centuries of mysteries. As recently as 2008, call-in reports from tower wardens, beefeaters, and visitors concerning ongoing strange sightings and unexplained activities around the grounds prompted an internal investigation by Historic Royal Palaces Agency, which operates the tower. While unable to conclusively confirm or dismiss the supernatural origins of specific phenomena reported, the agency did for the first time officially acknowledge the Tower of London's centuries-old haunted mystique via statement. The tower is an immensely old building with a history of torture and death, so to some degree, it is no surprise that ghost stories have attached themselves to it, short of conducting a large-scale scientific investigation. The organization said it had no plans to actively research the numerous accounts of full apparitions, auditory phenomenon, sudden cold spots, and odd light anomalies reported over many years by contemporary tower visitors and staff alike, which means the tower's many ghostly tales and centuries-old mysteries will continue capturing the imagination of the thousands of visitors who flock to London every year to explore the imposing fortress and experience its haunted happenings for themselves. Concluding thoughts. As long as the ancient towers, halls, and dungeons stand along the River Thames in central London, the tower will likely continue hosting its shadowy phantoms and strange phenomena spawned from such a darkly colorful past. For history buffs interested in retracing nearly 1,000 years of British sovereign legacy and military tradition, few destinations offer more to take in. And for those intrigued by ghost stories and unsolved mysteries, touring the venerable tower complex guaranteed to deliver its share of both as well. So consider putting a visit to the legendary Tower of London on your itinerary next time visiting England. Venture within its largely intact walls and venerable structures for a hands-on history lesson by day. Then linger into the evening to wander its spooky interior halls and grounds, keeping alert for signs of lingering legends and mysteries that await the next intrepid visitor, curious to unlock centuries of secrets. Just beware the eyes upon you from those no longer living, which refuse to relinquish their eternal dwellings within the mysteriously haunted Tower of London after dark.